was the youngest of Jacob's sons, born to Rachel, Jacob's beloved wife. His birth was bittersweet. Rachel died while giving birth to him, and Jacob named him Benjamin, meaning son of my right hand, a term of deep affection and strength. Though he was the smallest and youngest, Benjamin's descendants would become fierce warriors, renowned for their courage and tenacity. When Jacob blessed his sons before his death, he described Benjamin as a ravenous wolf, suggesting a tribe with a strong, even aggressive spirit. This blessing pointed to Benjamin's destiny as a tribe known for both bravery and unpredictability. Despite being small, the tribe of Benjamin often played a pivotal role in battles and was recognized for producing skilled fighters and archers. This legacy would shape their reputation as both fearless and resilient. When the Israelites entered the Promised Land, Benjamin's tribe was given a small but significant territory bordering the lands of Judah. This area included rugged terrain as well as fertile valleys, a landscape that suited Benjamin's people well. Strategically, Benjamin's land lay between the north and the south, placing it at the crossroads of Israelite territory. This location made Benjamin's cities, such as Gibeah and Mizpah, important places for gatherings and decisions. The city of Jerusalem, located on the border between Benjamin and Judah, also became central to Benjamin's story. Although traditionally associated with Judah, parts of Jerusalem were initially within Benjamin's territory. This proximity to the capital gave Benjamin a unique connection to the seat of power and contributed to its prominent role in the region's politics. One of Benjamin's most notable descendants was Saul, the first king of Israel. Chosen for his stature and strength, Saul reflected the warrior spirit of his tribe, initially leading with success, but eventually struggling with his responsibilities as king. His complex legacy showed the ambitious and intense qualities that often characterized the tribe of Benjamin. Later, Benjamin would also produce other influential leaders, many of whom continued the tradition of strength and loyalty to their people. Yet, Benjamin's journey was not without conflict. At one point, the tribe's fierce independence and warrior nature led to civil strife. In a tragic incident recounted in the Book of Judges, an internal conflict erupted between Benjamin and the other tribes due to a grievous wrongdoing in the city of Gibeah. This led to a near-total destruction of the tribe, with only a small remnant surviving. Despite this, Benjamin recovered and regained its strength, once again becoming an integral part of the larger community. This resilience defined the tribe, showing its ability to rebuild and endure, even in the face of near destruction. In later years, as the northern and southern kingdoms divided, Benjamin remained loyal to the southern kingdom, aligning itself with Judah. This loyalty allowed Benjamin to retain its identity alongside Judah, and the two tribes became close allies. Their connection endured through invasions and exiles, with Benjamin's people returning to their land and helping to restore the cultural and religious life of the community. Benjamin's legacy as a tribe is one of bravery, loyalty, and resilience. Though small, Benjamin's people played outsized roles in battles, leadership, and moments of critical decision. The tribe's symbol of the wolf serves as a reminder of their fierce nature and determination, and their place in history reflects the courage of a people who, despite challenges, held their ground and made a lasting impact. If you enjoyed this story,
Brakatha Yahweh, Brakatha Yahweh Shai, Brakatha Yahweh, Brakatha Yahweh Shai, Brakatha Yahweh, Brakatha Yahweh Shai. Call him Lo Yallah Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Racha HaKwadash. They give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. They have taught us this truth that the conscious ruling well through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashim, Shai. Peace, mercy, and blessings to the beloved Akim that are out there pushing this word wholeheartedly in truth and in sincerity, that are not wavering to the left nor to the right, but constantly stand on that straight and narrow, fighting for your crowns in these last days that we are truly living in. Even shalom to the few sisters, the Akwabs that are out there, and even shalom to the Israelite foreigners, those that may look like the other nations, but their seed line going back into our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I'm the brother Iraq, coming back with another lesson to the Lord, willing, edifying, feed the lambs of the Lord. Which, yeah, brothers, man, that was pretty much some of Benji's history, okay? Which, you know, you see in the beginning of that video, all right, it kind of made mention of the time of Benjamin's birth, okay? Which Benjamin, before his name was changed by Jacob, all right, Rachel was going to name him Benoni, okay, which I'm gonna read right here, Genesis 35 and 18. I'm gonna read it in the NLT. It says, Rachel was about to die, but with her last breath she named the baby Benoni, which means son of my sorrow. The baby's father, however, called him Benjamin, which means son of my right hand. All right, Benjamin, okay, which Benjamin, all right, goes into the Hebrew word Banyamyam, okay, Banyamyam, all right, which means son of the right hand, okay, a very courageous, loyal, all right, and dope tribe, all right, out of the house of Judah, okay, which is the southern kingdom, okay, all right, and out of the southern kingdom you have three primarily so-called dark tribes, all right, which consist of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, okay, and pretty much today I kind of want to talk about the tribe of Benjamin, okay, which, you know, most people, Salakia, you know, most people, when they think about the tribe of Benjamin, all right, which, you know, in today's term, they call them Jamaicans, okay, or West Indians, all right. You think about Jake having long hair, Jake having the dreads, all right, which this is not a really a custom of Israel, all right. The long hair and the dreads pretty much go back into Hinduism, all right, which Paul, okay, he was a Benjamite, all right. Matter of fact, let me grab that in the book of Romans 11 and verse 1. It says, I say then, have the Most High cast away his people? Yahweh forbid. For I also am an Israelite of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin, all right. Paul was of the tribe of Benjamin, okay, and even Paul, he spoke about, you know, having long hair, okay. Let me see. When it says in the book of Corinthians, all right. Yep. 1 Corinthians 11 and 14. Doth not even nature itself teach you that if a man have a long hair, it is a shame unto him? All right. So Paul of the tribe of Benjamin, all right, he even spoke of, you know, of having long hair.
About Jamaica.
The long hair, like I may mention, goes back into the idolatry of what Jake was, you know, getting into, all right, learning from the other nations, okay, all right, especially Hinduism, all right. Benjamin was getting into Hinduism, all right. Jake calls himself Rastafarians, all right. Jake praises Selassie, you know, all right, and these are nothing more than the tribe of Benjamin committing idolatry, you know, all right. And when you see Jake with the long hair and the dreadlocks, okay, all right, like I may mention, it goes back into the god of Shiva, all right. This is Shiva, which is a major deity in Hinduism, is often depicted with dreadlocks, also known as jatas, or matted hair, all right, which the matted hair goes into being unclean, all right, which Jake tries to symbolize the dreadlocks with the time of Samson, where it speaks about Samson having locks, which the locks go back into braids, all right. Jake had braids back in the ancient times, which braids are just intertwined or interwoven patterns of hairstyle, okay, which that was a custom of Israel, when it comes down to the matted hair, that shit has to be cut off, all right, and it's filthy, so Jake was getting into these customs of the other nations, which brought a downfall to really all the tribes, all right. Let's watch some of this video as well, all right, because this is some history right here as well with the tribe of Benjamin, all right, getting taken down and colonized by the Spaniards, okay, which before the Spaniards came to Jamaica, you had Cristobal Colon, which pretty much showed up onto the island, all right, around the late 1400s, and he signaled for the European Spaniards to pretty much come to the land and set up their army, all right. They set up bases, they set up trade routes, okay, for their people, all right. A lot of the land of Jamaica is very, very fertile, okay, which when you look up the word Jamaica, it actually goes into rich in springs, all right, which when there's abundance of water, there's a lot of vegetation, a lot of greenery, all right, which me personally, I've actually happened to get the chance to go to Queenston, Jamaica, all right, which my mother's father lived on the beach, okay, in Queenston, Jamaica. Very beautiful, all right, very, very beautiful, okay, very tropical, which my father, his father goes back to Arkansas, which he's of the tribe of Judah, so like it made mention in the first video that Benjamin and Judah, all right, they linked up, okay. Some really good history amongst the tribes, all right, which Lord willing, I could go into some other tribes as well, but I'm just focusing on the tribe of Benjamin, okay. Let's watch some of this. Like I made mention, they set up the trade routes. They seen that the land was very fertile, okay, and they coveted for themselves. Some of the history.
The Maroons in Jamaica are the descendants of the Moors in Africa, who viciously defeated British in Jamaica.
Which the Maroons, all right, because there's no such thing as the Moorish people, all right. When you go into the scriptures, all right, let's go to the book of Acts, chapter 13, verse 1. It says, "Now there were in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers, as Barnabas and Simeon, that was called Niger, and Lucius of Cyrene, and Manaen, which had been brought up with Herod the Tetrarch, and Saul." All right, now Saul, before his name was later changed to Paul, okay, they were known as Nigers, or people were calling them Nigers, okay, which really just goes back into calling them dark skin, all right. They were calling them so-called blacks for lack of understanding, all right. The word Niger goes into the word black, all right. That's what the word Niger goes back to, all right, because as I may mention, the tribes of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi are predominantly dark skin, You know, you do have some light-skinned Jamaicans, and that's due to the fact of the so-called white man laying down with the so-called indigenous people of that land, all right, and the seed lines, okay, or the genetics. I'm not gonna say seed, I'm gonna say genetics was pretty much mixed together, all right, which some came out lighter, you know, all right, and then you had the same thing, all right, you got those that look like Benjamites, but they actually go back to the seed of Esau, and then you got light-skinned Benjamites. Their father that was dark-skinned laid down with, you know what I'm saying, those Spaniards. They laid down with some of those British women, okay, which they're Edomites, and that's how the light skin came about, all right, because my grandfather's one of those light-skinned Jamaicans, you know, all right, but that's it on that point right there. Let me go to the book of Jeremiah chapter 14, verse 2. It says, Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish, they are black unto the ground. The cry of Jerusalem is gone up. You see the word black, all right, Judah, okay, all right. The tribes were dark-skinned. These are the so-called Negro tribes, okay. Let's watch some of the video.
Under the leadership of Queen Nanny of the Maroons, where they settled and acquired the land called Moortown in Portland, Jamaica.
All right, which, Salakia for pausing the video again, but the word maroon, or really, I want to say going back into the Spanish word moreno, because you did have Jake that ruled in Spain, okay, and they were calling themselves the Moors, all right. They were just calling themselves blacks, completely, you know, destroyed for a lack of knowledge, so to speak, all right. Wise people, but not joined unto our heritage, all right, because we're not black people.
That's why they called Western Jamaica Westmoreland, to mark Moorish occupation of lands. Before slavery, it was the African Moors who taught the Europeans how to bathe and sanitize their communities, because they never used to take baths and they slept with their animals. That's why France created perfume, eau de toilette, to camouflage their scent. The Moors, who ruled Spain for 800 years, introduced new scientific techniques to Europe, such as an astrolabe, a device for measuring the position of the stars and planets. Scientific progress in astronomy, chemistry, physics, mathematics, geography, and philosophy flourished in Moorish Spain. Catalonians, Sicilians, Sri Lankan, Mali, Nigeria, Jamaica, Haiti, and the entire Caribbean, and the world have Moorish descendants, who were originally of the 12 tribe of Israel, the original Israelites, the original craftsmen, mason, and architect. The Caucasian today won't admit this. They won't tell you that it was blacks who invented the traffic lights, the air conditioner, light bulbs, and many more inventions.
Yep, see? All right. Which we once had Europe under our control, okay? Before Esau came back into the time of the Renaissance, all right, which was the rebirth of them coming back into power, which they pretty much took over, you know. So a lot of colonization happened amongst the tribes, and this is one of the tribes that was colonized first by the Spaniards and then by the British, okay, until like it made brief mention of Nani, who helped savagely take down, all right, the tribe of, I'm sorry, the British, you know, all right, which you go into that history, okay, a Benji was getting down, man, you know, because Benji is a warrior tribe. Benjamin is a warrior tribe, man, you know, all right, men of valor, okay. Let me see. Genesis 49, verse Let's go to verse 27. All right. Benjamin shall raven as a wolf. In the morning he shall devour the prey, and at night he shall divide the spoils. Okay, which, you know, Benjamin took back over the land. Let me see. When did Jamaica gain independence? Jamaica gain independence. It says Jamaica gained independence from the United Kingdom of August 6, 1962. Let me see what it says. This date is celebrated as Independence Day in Jamaica. Jamaica became the first sovereign English-speaking nation in the Caribbean to gain independence. Man, that was after a long time of European oppression right there. Let me see when did they take down you had the May 1655 during the 1654 to 1660 Anglo-Spanish War, when an English expeditionary force captured Spanish Jamaica. It was part of an ambition planned by Oliver Cromwell to acquire new colonies in the Americas known as the Western Design. Let's see. Okay, the British governor was involved in the Atlantic slave trade and reimbursed plantation owners for the loss of labor that occurred when slavery was outlawed in 1834. Let me see. No, what happened in 1655? Hold on, let me see. Bear with me, Hakim. Just kind of looking into some of this history. Benjamin push out the British. Man, it says the British ruled over Jamaica for 300 years before they gained independence. So 1654, 1655, they won small battles, but the British still had control over them. It says Jamaica pushed to fully decolonize and break ties with the British monarchy led by Prime Minister Andrew Holness, involving transitioning to a republic and removing King Charles as head of state. This move is driven by a desire for full independence and self-determination, with Jamaica aiming to fulfill their true ambition and destiny as an independent, developed, prosperous country. Yeah. You know, show you how all the tribes befell of the Lord's wrath. Okay, which I'm gonna grab one more precept, all right? Because I made mention a lot of times the tribes going down and being brought into slavery or getting taken over, all right, was due to idolatry. Okay, this is Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 6. It says, "The Lord said also unto me in the days of Josiah, the king, hast thou seen that which the backsliding Israel have done? She is gone up upon every high mountain and under every green tree, and there have played the harlots." Okay, and when you go back into the time of the kings of the northern kingdom, every king was wicked. All right, every king of Israel was given unto idolatry. Okay, worshiping after the idols of the other nations. Okay, and this was a direct violation against the Heavenly Father, because the Lord had given us a contract, all right, which was the law, statutes, and commandments, and under oath we were supposed to obey, all right, these laws that were given unto us, okay, or there'd be punishments, you know. So these are part of the punishments that the tribes underwent, all right, concerning us making the Most High angry at us. All right, so it said, "And I said, after she had done all these things, turned out unto me, but she returned not, and her treacherous sister Judah saw it." All right, so they saw this the northern kingdom go into the captivity of the Assyrians. Okay, but even Judah, all right, Benjamin and Levi, okay, feared not the Most High, and the same thing ended up happening unto them. Okay, "And I saw when for all the causes whereby backsliding Israel committed adultery, I had put her away and given her a bill of divorce. Yet her treacherous sister Judah feared not, but went and played the harlot also." Okay, and you know, Israel and Judah are one people, all right, and we're likened unto a woman, all right, because the vows, all right, that we made towards the Most High, okay. All right, and we know that our power is a jealous power, man. All right, so it says jealousy bringeth a man to wrath, all right, anger. Okay, so this is part of what the Most High did to us, was part of his anger, all right, especially what happened to the tribe of Benjamin. Okay, "And it came to pass through the likeness of her whoredom that she defiled the land and committed adultery with stones and with rocks, and with stocks. And yet for all this her treacherous sister Judah have not turned unto me with her whole heart, but vainly saith the Lord." You know, all right, pretended. Vainly is to pretend to be sorry. You know. All right, but that's just some of the history. Just some of the history right there. Some of the things I was thinking about Benjamin. But yeah, I'm gonna end it right there. Lord willing, this was edifying to the Lord's elect. All right, with that, I'm gonna say shalom.